Good evening. Welcome to the Living in Utah live question and answer event I hold every week at this time, 8 p.m. Mountain Time, Thursday evenings. Every Thursday. Have not missed a Thursday this year. Couple things going on in Utah this week, and I also want to talk about a report that just came out about some new jobs that are coming to the state of Utah, moving to the state of Utah. So this week in Utah, it has been a little bit cold, definitely for this time of year. We saw snow today, even on the valley level, and we saw snow yesterday. The mountains got some power in like the Salt Lake market and the Ogden market. So dealing with that a little bit, and it's been chilly, that's for sure. Hoodie, sweatshirt type of weather. No t-shirts. Well, not for me, not this week. So definitely been a change. It was nice last weekend, but it really changed this week. Just as a lot of the ski resorts decided to wind down, and then we get this big snowfall this week. So, but most of them have closed their door. If you are looking for a season pass for skiing, now is usually the best time to buy them. They go times. All right, we'll talk about some jobs. If any questions, by all means, shoot them up there. So there was an article just published on companies that are moving to the state of Utah. In return, and this is one of the ways that the state of Utah has attracted businesses to the state of Utah for many years, by issuing a tax refund. And it can be up to 30% for companies who move to the state of Utah. Some of the companies. Okay, the audio's not going too good this evening. Okay, maybe I'll move this a little. Maybe I'll leave it a little closer to me here. That'll be a little bit. Okay. Sometimes it can be internet connection. Seems like my neighborhood in the evenings, there's a lot of people on the internet, and I've got the highest package that Xfinity Comcast produces, but it still doesn't quite keep up. All right, it's Thursday, the best night of the week. Oh, I agree. I watched a video in Zion National Park. It showed people getting caught in a flash flood in a gulch. Really dangerous stuff, apparently. Flash floods affect in a dangerous way. Yeah, that's a very rare occurrence. Flash floods are very rare in occurrence. It does happen predominantly in southern Utah. But it's more of a rare occurrence than something. Is there a city or cities that you recommend for Hispanic people? Well, that's a tough question. It's a question that I really can't answer. It's considered by federal laws as steering. You're not allowed to steer people to a particular area, especially when you're talking about race and stuff like that. So it's definitely an area that, as a real estate agent, you're not allowed to say that a certain group of people live in this neighborhood or et cetera, or a certain religion predominantly lives in this neighborhood or that neighborhood, or et cetera. What I can tell you, though, is with the modern age and the computer, there is a lot of data out there for cities, counties, et cetera, on breakdown of the makeup of the people who live in a particular community. So the other thing that I would recommend would be some of the Facebook groups. Could definitely steer you towards probably the wrong word, steer you, but could give you some information on different cities. And I actually would not, off the top of my head, even think of, what some of the city's population is for the Hispanic community. So, in your opinion, what are the best family activities areas throughout Utah? Great question, David. I would say, family activities range so vastly depending on the age of your children. You have everything from scouting organizations to all your outdoor activities. Most of the cities, every city that I've been a part of, has lots and lots of youth activities that go on every month of the year. So yeah, it's very, very popular. We're pretty much known as a family state, and the cities, the local government, they cater to that. There's all kinds of things going on for kids and teenagers, et cetera, different cities. Do a lot of people homeschool their kids in Utah? Well, I don't have exact numbers on that statistic. My guess would be we probably rank equivalent to any other state. I've never seen any article that says Utah is below the average for homeschooling or above the average for homeschooling. I've never seen an article like that. So I would say we're probably in line with most other states. Noel, I'd imagine stargazing in Utah is amazing in the desert. Yes, actually throughout the whole state. We have clear skies a lot of days. So yes, definitely. Is Utah welcoming new construction on open land, acres of land, or do they shy away from people wanting to develop on open land? Okay, that is a loaded question, and I'm going to take it in the viewpoint of just a general piece of land wherever you would find it. Now, it does vary county to county, city to city, et cetera, et cetera. But if you're building one home on a piece of land, say you bought an acre, half acre, whatever, the first step is, what is it zoned for? So if it's zone agriculture, you have to go through planning and zoning to get it rezoned to residential. That totally is dependent upon the city council. They will look at your plan and take everything into consideration. They send notices to the neighbors with what the proposal will be. Now, if it is already zoned as residential, you have won half of the battle. If it's already zoned, then a lot of the objections that can come up during the city council meeting would be to do with landscaping, design of home, maybe, et cetera, et cetera. Things that you can typically work with. Maybe a neighbor would complain if you were running like a business out of it also. So those kind of objections. But if it's zoned as residential, usually I don't really see any issues. But as far as the comment about homes, if you're talking about a development of homes, 40 acres and you want to put homes in, there is a little bit of backlash. There can be a little bit of backlash. And it used to be, as far as development goes, maybe 5-10 years ago, before we had Facebook groups that were so popular, the people neighbors were not as informed of what was going on until after the fact. So someone would go to the planning division, say, look, I got 40 acres. We want to put 80 homes on it, half-acre lots or 120 homes. And whoever showed up to the city council meetings could object and say yes or no. But things seem to get passed a little bit easier. Now that we have Facebook groups, and I live in a city that has a lot of development going on, and I see this all the time. People live in my area, and there's a lot of farmland, and there's a lot of objection. Every time someone tries to do a development or whatever, no, we don't want it in our backyard. Push it somewhere else. And the Facebook comments go on for comment after comment, 60, 100 comments. So in short, it is a little bit more difficult now with like Facebook groups because more people are being informed and they're showing up at these city council meetings saying, no, we don't want townhomes here. We don't want homes here. We want to keep the country feel, et cetera, et cetera. Typically, I would probably say, and I don't have any kind of statistics on this at all, just to what I observe with different developers and construction companies that are doing it. They usually find a way to do the building. Usually you can come with some kind of compromise with local landowners that might object. Now, if it's a landowner that lives a mile or two away, in reality, they really don't have a large objection because it's not, quote, like in their backyard. But anywhere where it's in their backyard, sometimes they'll usually come up with a compromise and et cetera, and they'll get the development to go. If you want to live in a country area near a big city, which will be the best option to keep the best of both worlds? Okay, so if we're talking about northern Utah, then I would say if you're looking at, you pretty much only have two to three areas to look at for the country feel. And that would be, so if you take the Provo-Orem area, Utah County, you would head further south, maybe 20 miles, 25 miles to the south or to the west. You can still get areas that have that country feel, areas like Eagle Mountain, Spanish Fork, quite a few areas around the Provo-Orem area that is just the south or to the west. When we're talking Salt Lake City, Salt Lake County area, predominantly you would be looking at maybe the Tooele area, Tooele and the neighboring cities, Grantsville, all of Tooele County. And you will get that country living, country feeling setting. As you head north towards Davis County, there is a little bit, there's some areas in like Syracuse, West Kaysville still has that country type of feeling. Disappearing, a lot of that's disappearing. There's not a lot of land left in them areas. West Bountiful is another area, basically to the west of I-15 along there. When you get into Weber County, there's areas like Marriott Slaterville, West Haven, Hooper, definitely has that country feeling. And then most of the areas north of probably Ogden, maybe North Ogden, Pleasant View, areas north of that, like Willard and Brigham City, and even further, there's some small towns like Honeyville and Deweyville and Tremont, and those areas will give you a country feeling. And then if you pop over into Cache County, where Logan, Utah is, there's a whole bundle of cities around Logan that will give you that country feel. Hiram, Nibley, Lewiston, a lot of the surrounding areas is where we still have the country setting, but you are minutes away from downtown, like downtown Logan or downtown Ogden. Or with Tooele, you've got everything in Salt Lake City that you're only a short drive away. And if you're down in like Eagle Mountain or Spanish Fork or those areas, you have everything in the Provo-Orem area that you're only maybe a 20 or 30 minute drive. Now, if you want total rural living in the country, we have lots of areas. Pretty much when you go south from Provo-Orem down towards St. George, the Cedar City area, and areas like Delta, Nephi, places like that is definitely some rural living. It's just that if you were looking for some of the amenities of like Costco's and hospitals and Sam's Club and movie theaters, et cetera, some of the bigger developments that you see, you would have to be around northern Utah, the counties, or the St. George area. Yes, development. Oh, okay. So yeah, as far as homes go, yeah. So yeah, there's development going on all the time. So, I'll tell you a funny story about development. And this is what I was told, because I had inquired about development many years ago, and I talked to one of the big developers in the area. And I'm definitely not going to say his name. So I said, "How do you get something approved?" And he said, "If you don't win your way through the local council, you then hire a lawyer, and you hire a detective, and you try to come in the back door and dig up some dirt on anybody in the city that you potentially have to try to get in on a building, on a development." So, and I definitely will not say the name of that person because I do know him very well. So, and that was an honest opinion. So, and I'm sure that happens in every state though. But yeah, development is going on all the time. It's it's a little bit of a tricky game. Developers who are experienced with developing, what they'll do a lot of times is they go in for the big gusto. They'll push the limit of what they think they can get in on that piece of land, whether it's townhomes, apartments, homes, knowing that we'll never be able to build that many homes on that property, but we'll let them negotiate it down to something acceptable by saying, we'll put in a park and we'll put in a trail system, et cetera, et cetera. And that's kind of what I see going on. There's actually one going on right now, so that they want to put townhomes and apartment building on this land, and the local city has shot it down. Now they're going to go back and they're going to design it. But when I looked at the particular plans, what came to my mind instantly was, there's no way this could even succeed, because this apartment building and the townhome, there's nowhere to park. There was actually nowhere to park. It's like they just crammed it all on this development that's a mobile home park right now. And I didn't see how it could even be done. So I think they were trying to start there and work their way down. So yes, development. Hopefully that answered your question a little bit on development. But if you are a developer or you're looking at developing, I mean, it is new construction right now is just insane. It's just crazy. There's not enough land at the current moment. Builders are building as fast as they can, and they're running out of land, and they're looking for new land that they can jump onto. I got lost on the questions. Are there food fairs in Ogden or only in Salt Lake City? You do find one or two in the Ogden area once we get out of this COVID situation. But predominantly, most of them have happened in either Salt Lake City or Park City is where I've seen most of them. Is there rural areas outside cities? What are the price ranges if you had to estimate? Well, it depends how far rural you want to go. If you are looking at areas like Delta, Utah, Nephi, Utah, there's quite a few that come to mind. Some of those areas, very affordable, very affordable. So to piggyback off of Mike, you can actually get 100% financing in many rural areas through the USDA loan program. Yes, yeah, there is the USDA loan program in some rural areas. It's something I don't run across a whole lot. Some of the homes, if I'm helping anybody in like the Logan area, I see some USDA loans going on. Areas like Hiram and Nibley, and I've seen a little bit up there. Where can you get the best price land in Utah that actually welcomes developers to develop multiple homes? Wow. That's a good question. But it boils down to sometimes it's not a matter of what the land cost, because so you could take an area that is in Salt Lake County, Utah County, any of the hot areas, Utah County, Salt Lake County, Davis County, a lot of areas in Weber County. You'll pay top dollar for the land, but they're also getting top dollar for the homes and top dollar for the lot prices if you were selling just lots. At where you could probably buy some more affordable land in areas like Brigham City, Willard, Tremonton, outside of Logan, Utah, maybe down in the Spanish Fork area. But the lot prices will be, you won't get as much money for the lot prices, and the home price on a new home is a little bit less than some of the other markets. So it kind of goes hand in hand on what you will get for a lot or land. So I will make some research on those options, looking towards the north. Thanks for the info. Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, if you're looking towards the north, yeah, look at some of those areas. And most of those areas that I talked about, it can be, you literally can be, I live in a city that is country living. And I am, I've got within about a 5-mile drive, I can come across about 4 or 5 grocery stores. I'm probably about a 15-minute drive to Sam's Club and Costco. I think it's ideal. So I really don't have to drive to, if I want to go to the movie theaters or shopping, mall, Sam's Club, 15-minute drive. So, oh Lord. That was on the development question. Yes. Developing developing land is, much needed. We can't build houses fast enough. So what about services in rural areas? If I work from home, can I get good internet? Well, David, I don't know. I really don't know. That it used to be, I would say, it used to be you would say no. One of the premium companies that I find around here is the Xfinity Comcast. That's what I have, which I like the service. It's not available in some of the more rural areas, though. They just haven't put the network in. With that being said, though, and I'd have to look at the company. I had a brother and some other relatives that had satellite internet years ago, and they were never happy with the service. Well, my father-in-law lives in rural Idaho, really rural, and they just got a new internet service that is satellite based. And every time I'm up there, I think it is totally fantastic. I feel it's as good as Xfinity. But on the other hand, I also do not do any kind of, I just use a computer for general use. So I don't do any kind of heavy uploading, downloading, et cetera, for, like business applications or anything like that. I haven't tried any of that on his service, but very happy with his service. So maybe the satellite internet has improved over the years. So are there any areas in Utah that welcome tiny home communities that you know of, again, for development? I don't. And I actually do not know what some of the regulations under the tiny homes would be. And that's predominantly because I live in northern Utah. So a tiny home community, the general conception is you cannot you do not make the kind of, with what the land cost is, it's hard to maximize your full potential. So, I mean, you can do, if you can put townhomes, you figure you could get 4 townhomes on half acre, 3/4 acre that sell for $350,000 a piece. That's 1.4 million on 4 townhomes. So a lot more profit than on the tiny home communities. So that's typically what I see in northern Utah. Land costs are so high that lots anymore are well over $100,000 just for the average building lot that's ready to go, has got your sewer, water, hookups, curb, gutter, everything like that, developed land, ready to go. So yeah, tiny home communities are not something I've seen developed in northern Utah at the current moment. Haven't seen any yet, but that could change. But with price of land, I'm not too sure. It's your builders are looking at maximizing their total dollar. So if they can put townhomes, or they can squeeze new homes on 1/4 acre lots, 1/5 acre lots, 1/3 acre lots, and build them, they're doing it left and right. That's why the apartment buildings are ever so popular. We have apartment buildings going up everywhere you go. So I just today was talking to a friend of mine who's a painting contractor, does a lot of commercial jobs. And he told me at the current moment, he receives about 2 to 3 bids per day on apartment buildings that are being built throughout the state of Utah to bid on. So you can take like 4 acres and apartment straight up to the sky, and $10 million project real easily, hundreds of units. Lots of money, lots and lots of money. A lot of big Wall Street money, a lot of investment firms, hedge funds are in the apartment business. That's where they're putting their money at the current moment, or one of the areas they're putting their money in the current moment, into areas that are seeing large amounts of growth. So Utah, Idaho, Colorado, Arizona, Texas, Florida. Apartments. Lots of money in it. I wish I could afford a $10 million apartment building. That would be nice, but not for me. I appreciate your honesty and love all your videos. Very, very informative. Well, thank you. That comment means a lot to me. I try to give an honest take or honest opinion about everything. So, and I appreciate that. So it sometimes backfires on you. I've done a few, top restaurants, Salt Lake City, Provo, Ogden, Utah. And I literally got slammed by somebody in Ogden that has I can't remember what restaurant, what the restaurant is called, or I believe it was Thai food. And I did not list their restaurant, and they felt offended. And I was like, don't take it as an offense. When I do a video like that, I'm not a food critique. I have no experience in food. I can cook bare dishes. I'm a consumer of food is all I am. And don't take it personal. It's just that the places that I list are places that I personally have eaten at, that I enjoy, or friends also like, and some of that opinion comes in, and it's just my recommendation. And they were gutted. It was not a great conversation, but in the end, we, saw eye to eye a little, and he was supposed to send me an email with an invitation to try out their restaurant. I have not seen the invitation yet, but I got beaten up pretty good on some of those, but hey, it was just my honesty of where I like to eat and places that I've eaten at, and I haven't eaten at every place. And as people ask me that, people who move here, they're like, Mike, where do you recommend I get a burger at? Where do you recommend I get? That's the places that I go to, and I say, try those places. It might not be for you, but I like it. You're welcome. People are too sensitive nowadays, and you can't please everyone. Just keep doing the work God has called you to do. Yes, thank you. We have eaten at many restaurants you have recommended and have never been disappointed. Great food here for sure. Yeah, yeah, and that's my intention on those particular videos on the food, is that's where I eat at. And it's what I enjoy. My taste is different than your taste. That's why we have so many places. When we talk about burgers, we've got Burger King, Wendy's, McDonald's, you name it. Not everybody likes every one of those places, but they're all in business. They're growing. They're building locations. Just because I don't eat at, say, Burger King does not mean it's not good. So, all right, Michelle. Hi, I've heard that many houses are selling for over asking price in northern Utah right now. About what % over asking should we expect to pay or offer? Great question. Well, I can tell you about this week's experience and last week's experience. We are currently putting bids approximately $20,000 to $25,000 above asking, and we are not winning any of those bids. We have won a couple weeks ago. We won 2 of them, but we did turn them down because of some of the stipulations that they had given us on a counteroffer we did not agree with, but they agreed with our price. So we are losing out right now at about $20,000 to $25,000 over asking. So it's not an exact science. It depends what you're going up against, and it also depends on what you're willing to do as far as non-refundable money, time frames on non-refundable money, et cetera, et cetera. So, but you will also notice, you'll notice too that you'll bid on a house and they'll have a lot of bids, and then like 2 or 3 weeks later, you'll see the house back on the market. So, seeing that a lot also. I actually just saw your video about where to eat and was happy to see there was a Greek restaurant in the area. Love euros. Great. Was that the Ogden one that you're referring to? Every time I think about euros, I think of the Greek Garden in Ogden. That family-run business has been there for at least 30 years that I can remember, in the Newgate Mall. But if you do like Greek food, and if you are talking about the Ogden location, there is Andy's Greek restaurant, I believe it's called. It's on Washington Boulevard in north of Ogden, probably like the Harrisville area, right next to the Walmart. They do very good Greek food. So Andy's is a great place. And I feel bad I didn't mention Andy's, so I just didn't come to mind, and I haven't been there in a while, but their Greek food is really good. So, is renting a home the same? Yes. Renting a home in Utah right now is competitive, but there's not a bidding war. You're not, if they're asking $1,400 a month for rent, you're not people coming in going, I'll give you $1,500, $1,600 to try to secure the deal. Not at all. But one thing about rentals, and I own rentals myself. And the key to rentals, in my opinion, is to me, it's a relationship business. I judge a lot on the person that I meet at the particular location that I own to get a feel for that particular person. And you go sometimes off a gut feeling, because a lot of people qualify, they meet the income requirements, they meet the background checks, et cetera, et cetera. So it can boil down, and sometimes, a great impression can go a long way. That'd be my tip. In Southern Utah, my wife and I just were accepted for our offer. $21,500 over asking for a new build. Yep, that's correct. That would, yeah. So that gives you an idea. It was in the mall. Yes, that would probably be Ogden. The Greek Garden in the Newgate Mall. Yes. Great family-run business. You as a consumer of food, what is the best traditional food in Utah? Example, Philadelphia equals Philly cheesesteak. I don't think we have anything in Utah that we're known for except for fry sauce. That would be it. Would be the fry sauce. We have a lot of great mom and pop businesses, and the videos that I've done on restaurants, it's mom and pop businesses that I choose typically, because most people are used to the chain restaurants and they've eaten there at the Applebee's or such and such steakhouse. So mostly it's mom and pop businesses, but Utah is a great place for business. If you want to open a restaurant, I see many, many succeeding. Although over the last year with the virus, there have been a few that have failed. So, and all this extra weight that I put on that people noticed throughout my videos over the last year, I have eaten out many, many times over the last year supporting the local businesses that I love, that I do not want to see go away. I don't want to be one of these people that say, oh, I wish this particular place was still there. So me and my wife have eaten out more now throughout the virus than we ever did supporting local businesses that we love in the community. Absolutely. Hello, what about homes in the $800,000 to $900,000 price range? Are people offering over asking price too? Yes, they are. I was actually last Saturday, we were shopping in that particular price range with some people from out of state, and it still is competitive. You are seeing some over asking price, and homes are disappearing off the market very fast. Probably, if I had to give a number, maybe 4 or 5 days in that price range. At where if you're in the $300,000 to $400,000 price range, they're putting them under contract in a day, 2 days. So easily. Past 2 days doesn't happen at price range. But about $800,000 or $900,000, yeah, probably about 4 or 5 days. Competitive, because everything that we looked at last Saturday had appointments throughout the day that I recall. So people were out shopping. Southern Utah County, I meant, right below Salt Lake County. Okay, gotcha. Yep. I think I said Southern Utah. I may have misread that a little bit. So, but as I was talking about, jobs are coming to Utah, and the state offers 30%. So tax refund up to 30% for the companies come here. So one of the companies is called Denali Therapeutics. They're going to bring jobs to Salt Lake City. It's a California-based company. They do biotechnology. They develop medicines for Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, and Lou Gehrig's disease. So they are looking at coming to Salt Lake City. And as we were talking about Tooele, there is a company called Plastic Ingenuity. They will be opening an office in Tooele. They are a Wisconsin-based company. And we have Captive Air. They are bringing jobs to St. George. They are a North Carolina-based company. They do industrial and commercial HVAC systems and kitchen ventilator manufacturer for military, schools, and restaurants. So some of the companies that have just announced, they are bringing jobs. And we also have SunWest Bank, which is coming to Sandy, Utah, Salt Lake County. SunWest Bank. I guess they're in a few different states. So that's just what we've got at the current moment coming to Utah. So great news. And there's many, many more companies coming. Okay, if you do have any mortgage questions, anything to do with finance, mortgage, interest rates, shoot the question. So the last poster, David, he is a licensed mortgage representative. and he would be glad to answer any question that you do have about mortgages. I don't think I saw any come through this evening, but if you do have a question, by all means, David can definitely tackle that particular question. David is the one who made the comment about the USDA loans. So if you're curious about USDA loans, you're welcome to contact David, and he can help you out on USDA loans. Yes, there's I seen the Federal Reserve chairman on the news the other day, and he anticipates that the low interest rates are here to stay. And they did ask him about inflation, and he says right now inflation is under control, which it just got my head spinning, because everywhere I go, I see prices up. Car prices are through the roof. Manufacturers now are having to cut production because they can't get chips. So construction materials, wood is through the roof. I just heard today that concrete, there's a shortage of concrete. Some of the concrete mills in Utah that mix the concrete, they're going to a 4-day work week. They don't have enough material to supply all the jobs. And that brought, when I'm talking about jobs, that just a new thing that I just heard today in the Ogden area. Amazon is building a big warehouse there. I believe off 400 North. There's a lot of controversy with that. And I was thinking, I can't remember how big it was, this warehouse, but I was like, where are they going to get the concrete? But everywhere I go, I see prices have increased. So I don't understand how we don't have inflation, but I don't know if there's some funny numbers going on, but to me, it seems like pricing has gone through the roof. 2x4 is $7. The OSB board that you put on the side of your house is $42, $43 a sheet. That used to be like $13 to $17 a sheet. Just everything is going up, 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 up. And then they say there's no inflation. So I'm not too sure. But any more questions this evening? It's been a great night. 42 minutes this evening. But so David's got his phone number on there. So if you did have any kind of mortgage question that you wanted, you didn't maybe want to put it on the live event, you're welcome to have a personal phone call with David on any kind of mortgage related question, refinancing, purchasing, et cetera, et cetera. He'd be glad to answer that for you. So, well, I think I'm going to call it a night then, and we'll be back next week. Thank you very much.